Hello everyone, my name is Orca, and in this video I will try to explain how to set up the game correctly before doing anything. So let's go to the main menu, options, and let's go one by one. The graphics settings should be set up however you want it, however you want to set it up. It's not that important. The audio, I don't like the music much, so I just, well, turn it off. I left some of the audio effects. Let's go to the game. Now, this is the most important part of the game. You should probably work on your mouse sensitivity if you don't have a mouse that can be actually adjusted with the sensitivity and other options. Uh, as for the rest, you should always have the ship control mode on basic, and ship information to full. I don't know why would anyone choose brief, because you just have some brief information about your ship and you can't do much with that information. You can't build a proper ship. As I explained it in my previous video about basic shipbuilding, you need the ship information to full and module availability display set to available rank range, so you can always manage with your modules and ships and builds and whatever you're doing. So let's go one more to the game options to set it up correctly. So auto lock is always on. Ship control mode is basic, although the expert option is insanely fun in open space, but keep to the basic because you need it for PvP and general competitive play. With the expert you will have some trouble, so I keep it on basic, and when I go to open space I set it up to expert, so it's fun that way. You have that immersion stuff going on and everything. Ship trails, well, if you want to see the enemies fly around and leaving a trail behind themselves, it's really useful, so you can actually see where they're going, and if they cloak, you can probably guess where they were going anyway. The ship information, as I said, should be always in full, not brief. Brief won't help you in any way. I don't know if the translation assistance is really helpful. I tried it several times, but it wasn't really that much helpful to me. Camera distance, well, maximum camera distance from the ship. It can be set up however you want it set up. So the more distance, the more close combat, I guess. That would be the ratio of the camera distance versus the type of combat you prefer. The aim assistance is useful when firing with lasers. They keep on your target as well as the projectile weaponry, so it's useful, but sometimes it can be useful to turn it off for those skill shots, because you will need this turned off to be able to properly use your skill shots, any skill shot weapon in particular. Ping aware prediction helps you with the aiming and stuff if you have a high ping, but it's not really auto aim kind of a thing, so don't expect much from it. Show available upgrade levels should be always on, just for the sake of continuous upgrading and stuff. The mouse sensitivity in free view, that's something you need to set up on the keybinds. So you will have to adjust in a way you want to move in a free view. It can be adjusted to various speeds, whatever. So it's not really important unless you want to play with the free view or just do some let's say screenshots or anything in particular. Monochrome map is basically the map outlines. As you can see, it's not really that important anyway. Auto afterburners and auto speed, if you turn these two on, you will always be on auto afterburners. If you just turn on the maintain speed, you will just have the, well, there you can see the description, so I don't have to explain it. It's not really useful much, because if you want to do some sort of competitive play, you probably won't need these two, or any kind of a play. If you don't care much how you perform in a battle, just turn it off, on whatever you want to. Now the important stuff here is the module availability display. I don't know why would anyone actually do the maximum available rank option. I would always pick the available rank range, because it shows me from which to which rank I can equip a module, so it's really helpful. As for the effects, well, it depends if you want to see module icons or the effects in numbers, whatever, you can switch on. I just know them by memory, so I pick modules. Now these ones are particularly important. Auto repairs are useful for number of reasons. You don't have to click repair always, manually repair your ships. So this helps you in those trivial parts of the game. Auto purchase ammo is also useful, but keep in mind, when you have gold standard kind of ammunition, you should turn this off, or you will lose a tremendous amount of gold standards, because every time you install an ammo and go into battle or any other mode, you will lose that one charge of ammunition. So by default, the premium ammo is between 20 and 25 gold standards, so with each play you lose 20 to 25 gold standards, and you should probably avoid the auto purchase ammo option in those cases, or in cases when you have to craft your ammo and you don't want to waste too much of it, or just want to use one of the ammo you crafted. In those cases, it's really helpful. The lead status just shows you which players have the premium license, and you, perhaps, if you have a premium license going on. So it just shows you that bling kind of an option. Now, station protection is useful in open space. It protects you against hostile players, criminals and stuff, but it does not protect you from NPCs. So it's not unified kind of protection. It's just protection against other players, so you don't have to PvP in open space unless you go to a PvP specialized sectors. In that cases, the protection is off and you don't have any station protection, obviously. So the station protection in general is a useful feature, but in general it deprives you of farming specific friendly allied or whatever NPCs that have a nice drops in open space. So also, if you kill them without the station protection, you will be a criminal, an aggressor for the next 3 minutes, but that's a different kind of a thing, and I will cover that in a different video about open space. So the station protection is useful, but it has its limits. And now the last but not the least, the preferred server region. If you set it on any region, you will have more battles, less waiting time. You will probably queue in just a few seconds or so, but you will have to deal with probable high ping latency issues and such, because sometimes you will go into Russian, Europe, or USA, whatever server is the most far away, the furthest away. So in those servers you'll probably have some latency issues, ping issues, whatever. So that's the only downside. The good side is when you set it to any region, as I do, you can immediately get into games and have no issues in waiting and stuff. So that's extremely important. The next thing that's really important is the heads-up display. It should be set up so you have to you just have to know which colors will trigger your awareness, or how should I say it. So sometimes when you play, setting the lead marker to, let's say, white will leave you in some troubles, because the background or the lights or the effects or whatever causes you might encounter will actually be, let's say, white, and you won't be able to see the marker and probably miss your target. So I have some weird colors set up, so I always can distinguish the enemies from objects, from stations and such. So I always have it set up like this. So these are my settings. This is how I play it. I have a lot of information going on my HUD, and this is just the general heads-up display settings. The other settings are markers on enemies and allies. So you can see I have pretty much everything in my HUD. So I can manage the information, but sometimes other people would be just overwhelmed with the amount of information in the HUD. So I would probably suggest that nobody should have this on, at least before gaining some skills or experiences in the game. So you should probably think about what do you need and what you don't need. So keep in mind you have enemies and allies markers, and you can set up individually however you want to. And the last thing is the notifications. You can set up what you want to see in the notifications. You can set to, let's say, all of it. Whenever you change something, you can actually see what you changed, and you can go back in the log and see what did you change last and stuff like that, if you need such information. And chat voice, well, it's pretty straightforward. The Oculus Support is still undergoing some work, I guess. There's no news about it, but I think it's gonna be available in 2017, somewhere around 2017. I can't really pinpoint it. I don't have that information anyway, but I'm guessing it's gonna be available then. The account, well, that's not really that important. So let's go back to the keybinds. Before we go actually to keybinds, you have the support shortcut and the standard logout and quit options in main menu. So let's go to keybinds. Here you can set up numerous keys on your specific stuff, whatever you need. Some options are not binded to any key, so you have to do it manually, like let's say minimap mode. It switches from 2D to 3D, and I have it set up on caps lock. It wasn't set up on any key, so I can switch between two-dimensional and three-dimensional minimap, and it's really helpful when you're in close combat and you need to orientate yourself against your enemy, and you can always manage to get along with that kind of a setting. So keep in mind you need to set up the keybinds to your liking, and game options and HUD to your liking, and after you're done with that, you can actually go and play this game. So I hope this was helpful, and remember to always have fun in the game. See you again next time.